freezing. Hey, what's up, guys? Okay, so I connected a few dots here, and maybe I'm late to the party, but I was trying to make a connection. There was a mainstream disconnect that I just could not wrap my head around. All right, so the same people talking about opening up this country very, very soon. What's today's date? So next 3 weeks or so, right? Okay. So they're discussing that, but they're also discussing $12,000 a month for 6 months, up to 12 months. And I mentioned this, and I thought that it was pretty much a done deal, nothing set in stone. But it will be relatively fast, or we'll know. I'm almost certain that we'll know by the end of this month. All right, we knew $1,200 a person is not enough. It's a come up for a lot of people. I won't say most, or couldn't give you an estimate. It's a come up for me. But how will this happen? All right, and well, I mean, it's very simple. So, yeah, they're, we're very fresh off of, hey, everybody wear a mask everywhere the fuck you go. All these non-essential businesses close, and very quickly we went to, okay, any place where a bunch of people can be together, let's do it. Let's gather around. So, and what you will see is that, oh God, a lot of people they get too comfortable. All right. So what I mean when I say that is, I don't know. I mean, you're more likely to not take the path of I'm fucking burnt. But you won't likely take the path of let's say, I want to say discipline, but there's something else I'm looking for. You won't be as conscious, I would say. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I understand a lot of people are actually taking this shit seriously, staying in the house or whatever, but, there's a great deal of us who, because it's not happening to us, it didn't happen to anybody else. They want to play things as usual. All right? So I'm sorry if I'm stumbling. Like, I just woke up not too long ago. All right, so you're going to have people playing. I mean, you see people protesting, and people have the right to protest. Some people are just going over the top, you know what I'm saying? So what I read this morning, which kind of nudged me to finally say this, is that they opened up the beaches and shit like that, and all of a sudden it's 1,000 extra cases or something like that. That's it. That's literally it. That's what's going to shut the country down. So I'm saying, maybe I don't know what my tone is right now, because I'm trying to focus and I just really cannot right now. So I don't know what my tone is, but this was supposed to be somewhat presented as a good thing. Now you say, oh, people getting coronavirus, that ain't good. I understand that. Speaking from a financial aspect, now everybody it's not going to be the same fate for everybody else. I'm not going to try to tell you that I'm rooting for the country to be shut down, even though I would benefit. You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, there are people who would benefit from the country shutting down, and people who likely won't. Okay, hairdressers or anything they already deem to be non-essential. So what we have right now is there's no other way to put it, because a lot of people, I mean, I tell you one thing and you will instantly jump to doom, but let me just say that this is kind of a race to a complete crash, to a redo, a start over. That's what it appears to be to me. I know a lot of people, they call me crazy or they pass off the shit that I say, but I've been right. What can I say? I've been right. So I mean, hey, give me credit credit for that. But what will happen is that, okay, because it just didn't make sense. I was trying to fucking figure it out. I'm like, why y'all talking about 6 months of this, 12 months of that, but also trying to open up the country like like in a few weeks? It didn't really make sense to me, and that's why. Okay, that's why. I don't know, what's going on behind the scenes or anything like that, but what I see is that, hey, opening up the movie theaters will turn out to be a very bad idea. Okay, open up the churches will turn out to be a very bad idea. Touch your neighbor. Okay, so I gotta mention, I gotta ask, you know which one of you, how many of you stand to benefit from the country shutting down? Will it get more strict than it has been lately? Because when they told me that it was going to be a shutdown, I expected to see something far worse than this. All right, outside of the fucking weather just being like very disrespectful, I had some pretty good days. I know that a lot of places are shut down. You still go to the park. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they took the rims off the court, and that's fucked up. I've been waiting to play basketball for a long ass time, and well, it's tough trying to get a game, man. Oh, and it's especially tough trying to get some fucking hair clippers. I tell you that. Got some on the way. It's not the ones that I want, but it's not about that. Okay, so, but what I will say is that anticipate. Now I taken so much information that I can't roll with it all, but I heard that we were dealing with a situation where, okay, we got the coronavirus, then we have it under control, then it comes back, and then it leaves, and then we never hear about it again. Okay, so expect that, and even though this can take up to, I think that this could go as long as 2020. I think 2022. I think that sometime next year is when we get to your point, our new beginning. All right. So part of the things that I expect to see in the new beginning is a new currency, and I know people fear the global currency. I understand that, but what I see to be happening is that actually some people actually work, some good guys actually working on the side of the people, or some people working on the side of the good guys, however you choose to see it. And I fucking hate saying this. I mean, I said it a couple times, but I want people to leave me the fuck alone. I just want to put it out there, is that there are rumblings that the Federal Reserve has already been bankrupt. Okay, like, this country has been extremely selfish. This government has been extremely selfish. And I'm a black man, so especially so. And even still, with the speed, like the amount, just how fast all of a sudden they care about the well-being of damn near every fucking body in this country. It's very it's kind of mind-boggling. All right, now I know this wasn't the case all the time. I know I'm not just making this shit up. This is not the norm. Now I understand. Okay, there's a crisis going on. People need what they need right away. But I mean, I'm not going to say that's always been the case. But I mean, okay. Anyway, I'm getting too far off from my point. So when we talk about a new beginning, I talked about universal basic income. All right, that is a complete go against the grain to everybody's paradigm. And what I had predicted from the moment I heard we were getting $1,200 checks, first thing is I said that it was a sample. I said it was a trial run. It was what's to come, and people were saying, look at what Canada's doing. 4 months, $2,000, a month. And I said that after this trial run that they were going to see that obviously it wasn't enough. They needed to buy some time, okay? So, and I mean, in order to buy time, just give everybody this, let the money circulate. However, it's going to find its way to people who don't necessarily need the money, and or who's well off, and they will be sharing with other people who aren't, getting the money as fast as they would need, or if they're not getting it at all. So, and I've seen that to be true already. I'm one of the people who, I received money, and I definitely did need it, but just started giving a little bit away, spreading the wealth. So I said that it would be a trial run, and that we would re-up with about 6 months of $2,000 a month for the year. And I also said that this was a sample of what I think a lot of us, and I don't want to give you false hope, but this is what I believe. Like, this is a sample of what is to come. All right. Totally sustainable. All right. Jobs, obviously jobs are going away, but a lot of new jobs will be made, and a lot of jobs that you've always known will still be there. Okay, a firefighter's still gonna be a firefighter. All right. Goddamn teacher's still gonna be a teacher. Although, and I've already seen some of it. I mean, a lot of teachers will take their talents to home. Okay, they'll be teaching from home. All right. Actually, very interested as to how these curriculums are being put together. Do the teachers have anything to do with it? Are the teachers still in touch with their students? How's that going? All right, or are the teachers like getting an absolute break? Actually, in some regard, as a teacher, I would be a bit concerned, and would start thinking about how I could where to go from here as far as transition goes. Because although a lot of parents are going to have to go back to work and are going to have to go to work, a lot of teachers are going to capitalize from working from home. So if you're able to swing, still keeping your child at home, and you're not necessarily responsible for trying to teaching them these things and giving them whatever it is that they need for them to have a successful school career, so to speak, duration. It would make sense in the near future, to rely on online, an online teacher. You know what I'm saying? These kids, they use the phones and tablets for YouTube and all this shit all goddamn day. Then it's definitely possible. All right, so, and I do expect that. I definitely do, and I expect many new norms. Okay, new norms, and I honestly can't wrap my head around some of these things because it's actually a lot of good things. Guys, I gotta tell you something, and I heard about this a couple times coming up, is when everybody's worried, you should be a little upbeat. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's upbeat, you should probably be a little concerned. I don't know, but if there's a new beginning, like I believe there's going to be, then you will see a lot of upbeat people. Stay on guard and shit like that. But I truly believe there's a lot of good things that are happening. I guess through Age of Aquarius, something to do with the stars, or just, I don't know. Um, this year is the year of a goddamn shift. I can tell you that. And it's blatant. It's almost like cheating how I can, how I can predict these things that will happen, and then they happen. Okay, so yesterday in my group, because I don't always try to post this, big shit on my regular news feed. People just wouldn't understand. They're not ready for that. Yo, what's up, Christine? So yeah, so people aren't ready for that. But what I said yesterday is this energy was just speaking to me, and I said I feel like a big name is going to die today. Now I don't know what ended up happening after I said that completely, but I do know towards the end of the night, you know, was it Kim Jong Un? Kim Jong Un. He went down, and well, I don't know how else to put this. I expect for him to die very soon. Okay, if he didn't die last night, he's probably going to die within the next week. Okay, and so expect many more big names to die, and to step down, and to die by way of suicide. All of that. Oh, you saw. Oh, you saw that I predicted that. Yeah. And yeah, so I mean that was just the energy speaking to me. Right now, I don't really feel too much. I don't feel too much going on. What I have felt over the past few days is like, because I don't get bored, so maybe that's what they call boredom. But I felt like something was on pause. Not necessarily the country, but like my feelers. Like I'm reaching out there to see what's going on. So obviously things are taking place, but they're so under wraps that I couldn't possibly get my hands on it. So a little bit of what's going on is like, yes, I can tell you that a lot of people, a lot of um, human trafficking slaves have been rescued. There has been a massive sting, and now people, they're not going to outright tell you anytime soon, but that's a big part of the reason why the country is shut down. Is that, and the reason why it's hard as hell to get into a hospital. Like, I'm hearing from people left and right. It's like, man, there's a lot of space in this hospital. There's a lot of room. There was a lot less room before this pandemic. Now there's a lot of space in this hospital. So much so, you tell me, if it's booked with coronavirus patients and shit like that, then why are these people in the health field all of a sudden just getting furloughed? They're important. You need them. Why are they getting furloughed? They don't have any work. Look, talk to enough people, and you will see that I'm not just making this shit up. Just talk to enough people who work in this field. Why are they getting furloughed? At a time like this, you would think that their job is solidified. Maybe I'm missing something. Also, and see, now I'm all over the place. Why I even start talking? Like, also, in some weird way, now we know this isn't the truth, but in some weird way, it's almost like we're convinced that every death is coronavirus related. I haven't heard shit about a goddamn heart attack, diabetes, or cancer. I haven't heard anything about that. Like, everything, and naturally you will go to the story where, not even a story. So, you start to hear from people like, my father had a heart attack and they put it down as COVID-19. All right, there's not some make up shit. That could have a lot to do with why the funding has been taken away from the WHO. All right, there's some funny shit going on there. All right, as with a lot of these organizations who present themselves to be there for the people, but nothing but a series of or a group of cons. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, I'm not trying to clown anybody, any of my people, but it's just because I know how easy it is to be programmed to think only about the coronavirus. It's weird. It's really weird. I'm not hearing about anybody dying from anything else. All right. So I got it out of me, so I feel a little peaceful now. That's what you can expect. All right. So yes, expect more casualties. Expect the numbers to be inflated. It's almost like the numbers are going to be inflated to work for our benefit. That's why I'm not really concerned with the numbers being inflated. Inflate the numbers. Please do. Now, I'm sorry if that makes me, selfish by saying that a lot of us will benefit from it, but I mean, the writing was on the wall, and it's a lot better than what I had, what I had convinced myself was going to happen. Trust me. All right. Trust me. It just so happened that while the people who didn't have our best interests in mind were getting very sloppy, and just riding the momentum from, I don't know, maybe centuries of systems being built to protect them, that they didn't realize that there were actually people working for the people. All right, so with as many hard-working, just great individuals in this world, positive, kind-spirited, mean well by damn near everybody they come across, and there's maybe billions of us, okay? In comparison, there's about a handful of people who don't mean well, but still, through a very intricate way, have taken over in, I mean, every mainstream way. Mainstream religion, mainstream sports, mainstream news, mainstream music, mainstream films. Okay? And what I see is very similar to what had happened at one point, is that we have an infiltration. All right, it's not a complete infiltration at this point, I don't believe, but what we have is, okay, let me just I'm trying to paint you a picture here, because I'm not as articulate as I would want to be at this time, but so I'll try to paint you a picture. So, and I asked the question before, why are all these big CEOs just suddenly stepping down? So like a few years ago, I remember there was this thing where just like a lot of bankers were just committing suicide and shit like that. And I don't know if it's connected, but I just thought that was weird. But now, what I think is also weird is that a lot of CEOs are just randomly stepping down from the best job you could probably ever possibly have. All right? And it ain't just 3 people or a handful of people. There is literally a website that will show you all the CEOs that stepped down, kind of, I don't want to say up to the minute, but updated regularly. So if I check right now, and I got to find it, it shouldn't be too hard to find, So since 2017, they counted 12,000 CEOs stepped down. Some did die. I am tired of this phone. I really am. So, but some did die a little bit. And some were fired. But a lot of them, man, just stepped down. Now, I can't really think of all the companies, but Google is one of them. All right, you see Bill Gates step down, and all of a sudden everybody's just, you can't hide the truth from the people for too long. That's all I can say. All right, it's funny because now I don't really have to say anything. And not too long ago, I actually spoke on behalf of him in a positive way. I guess I got rocked to sleep for a little bit because of the documentary that came out. I thought it was really good. Meanwhile, it was just a front to try to, I can't tell you what somebody's intentions was, but I would imagine that it was trying to give people this, this, I don't know, this friendlier version of a guy, soft version, make him very inviting, make him out to look like a hero. Now, how fast the tides have turned, I am shocked. I am shocked. Now, you got a lot of these wise guys out here. You got a lot of these wise guys who, they read a few books. They focus on grammar. They're grammar Nazis and shit like that. Then, you got a couple of these wise guys talking about, they may be saying things along the lines of, oh, yeah, really, okay, Bill Gates, okay, yeah, he's going to end the world. He's just a billionaire, all right? He's just a nerdy white guy, you know what I'm saying? And they say this about a lot of actually very powerful people who are connected to evil people, but there's just a complete disconnect. Wise guys here. All right, so the people have had it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can tell somebody's watching. You can tell somebody's like, oh shit, they got us. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, well said. So, and I like the documentary. I made videos on that. A lot of takeaways in that video. It's bittersweet where you can take a lot of good game from evil people. All right, and also like evil people can make some very good heroes. So I guess it's kind of good to study from evil people. Now you can take those tactics and you can use them for the people. Okay, or just do the exact opposite or something. I don't know. So this is the year where a lot of powerful people lose their power. All right. That's right. Study everything, and you keep your enemies close. Okay, keep them very close. All right. So now's not the time for me to fight with you guys. I've always had the same kind of mission. It just so happens that now I can feel myself. I feel like I'm more comfortable with speaking more on what I see because things are coming to a head. More and more information is going out, and you'll start to see across the board how a lot of these evil people are connected, how a lot of these powerful people are connected. And I can't stress it enough. There's going to be a lot of heartbreak, but a lot of good news. All right. So now some of the good news is, kind of hits like bad news. Okay. So, so naturally, with all of the kids and all of the women going missing, where do they end up? And yeah, it's a concern of mine because I have a fucking child. I worry about this shit. I'm in a family just full of women and kids, little girls and shit like that. Not saying the boys don't matter, but little girls. I need to know what the fuck's going on. So I bring a goddamn child into this world, and I said I wouldn't bring a child into this world because I just didn't trust it, and I did it anyway. So now I got to make sure that my eyes and ears are focused on the justice in this world. And so you think when somebody gets kidnapped or something like that, they just get locked up in a room or wherever it is, and it's just them, and whatever happens to them. And maybe at one point it's like that, but make no mistake about it. All right, where one gets trafficked, you will see many more. Okay, so what is happening silently. Earlier I was talking about empty hospitals and shit like that, why they keeping hospitals empty. We'll make a little connection right now. So what is happening right now is what a lot of these people being rescued, they're the ones being put in the hospital. Okay? It's a covert operation. So I don't know if numbers were inflated for the people or if it was for an organization that's working against us. But what I've heard, what I've gathered, what I've seen through quite a few pictures and heard from some nurses and some people in the military is that a lot of kids, a lot of disformed, malnourished kids. I mean, and what I've heard is that the shit was so bad, the sight. I mean, stacks of dead bodies, the smell, and all, it made hardened men break down. I mean, because some of the people that are being used for this sting operation, they went to war. All right, so I think one of the biggest, if you own the military, you can do whatever you want with them. All right. Recently, maybe in the past few years, I believe that the military has been infiltrated by by the good guys. And recently there was an order for, there was a call for about 1 million people in the military, all right, reserves and active members alike. It's interesting. So to bring aid to the people of coronavirus and shit like that, which they're bringing aid. You know what I'm saying? And even on the coronavirus front, but make no mistake about it, they're doing some real hero work right here in this country. So I remember years ago just thinking, I'm like, well, if y'all want to fight terrorists, I mean, there are a lot here. I mean, you could do something about these corrupt ass politicians, and a lot of people who are involved in unspeakable things, and it's happening. It is. So when can you expect to hear about that? Now I've heard that this is supposed to take place in order as far as how we start to hear things. Like we've been spoon fed, okay? They're baby feed, spoon feeding us a little bit here and there, but I'm hearing maybe you'll hear about this towards the end of the year, the beginning of next year. Things are going in order, so I don't know where we're going right now, but what's happening with the oil is maybe a sign, even though this is one of those things where I think it's going to be temporary. A lot of the things that are going to happen afterwards, it won't be as temporary, if it will be temporary at all. So that's what we are, and very, very anxious, to really, get all this over, hear all this news, have the world wash its hands and start anew. But I understand that this is a process, and thousands of people are going down, thousands of people will be executed for unjust actions against humanity. Assets will be seized and will be given to the people. Now that sounds very romantic, doesn't it? It sounds very romantic, sounds very unrealistic. But there's just too many coincidences. So why I'll ask you because you're just a group of smart individuals. I'll ask you why at a time like this, Trump all of a sudden ordered um, federal executions, and that was a little that was a thing, low key, but it got buried under a lot of what's going on right now. Is federal executions. Um, haven't been federal executions for what? And maybe I'm wrong about this. What did I see? 50 years or something like that. I don't know. Something like that. And I'll look it up just to be sure. And if I'm wrong about that, then I'll clean it up. Maybe, I don't know. And also, what I found to be very interesting. Now, this was a while back, so I don't really know about this one. But I mean, I know it happened, but I just don't really know why. So America, and I remember reading this maybe 2012, 2013. They ordered like 30,000 guillotines, something like that. And I was just thinking, like, what the fuck? I mean, obviously you're using that for execution, but like when are you going to use that for what? And so it would appear that I found what those guillotines were before. Even though you wouldn't need that many, I would think, unless you're dealing with a lot of fucking people. Maybe 30,000 wasn't the number, but I don't know why that's speaking to me. Alright? So when I talk about thousands of executions, I actually do mean over 100,000. I don't know if it'd be over 100,000 executions, but I tell you what. Go to Twitter. Go to search and type in unsealed indictments. Right? Yeah. Type in unsealed indictments. See what you find. Look at the latest. Look at the top news. There are a lot of things happening all at once. And let me just say again. So, because we came into this year, with kind of like the fear of World War III. We didn't know what this year had in store for us, and with so much had taken place, we kind of lost sight of that. And what I think a lot of you actually lost sight of is that, hey, it's World War III is actually happening. Okay, so what are some of the signs? Okay, in times of war, things shut down. Now, I know. No, we're not being forced to the house, really. I mean, you can still go outside. They're trying to get us to go outside now. But it just seemed very reminiscent of something like that. So maybe I'm just connecting a dot that isn't really there. Maybe it's just a very light comparison. But I just thought it was interesting, and a lot of what makes it interesting is like how symbolic it is, not more so really how it looks, but just what's encouraged, the amount of countries that are involved. When you talk about the world, and you say 184 countries are dealing with this shit. I don't know how many countries are shut down. Maybe it's a lot less than I thought as far as countries being shut down, but I mean, 184 countries. I don't know how many countries there are. What are 207 or something like that? I don't know. But I would take it that, I mean, that makes up the world. I mean, a great deal of it. So it'll be interesting to see, just looking back, in the future and in the near future, of how there were many wars taking place. Now, I've been listening to a lot of the briefings, Donald Trump's briefings, and he always talks about like the war with the invisible enemy and shit like that. Now, I had long suspected that he was double speaking, and a lot of people may have a hard time believing something like that, because Donald Trump he has convinced a lot of people that he's a complete idiot. And I know I'm gonna sound like a fool saying this. That's only a fucking genius could really do that. Only a genius. It's a very disarming thing. Okay? I tell you what, whenever people are sleeping on me, that's when I'm at my best. That's when I have the space to operate. Alright? It's not comforting. It doesn't feel good. But in a sense, in some weird way, I love invisible enemy, invisible, I forgot what other phraseology he uses. But yeah, so where was I? Oh yeah, so it's not a very comforting thing to hear or realization to come to, but when people count me out, it somehow works in my favor. Not only does it set up a shock factor, but people really don't play you close. If you disregard somebody, you're not paying attention to their moves. All right, you won't even hear them out when they're speaking right there in front of you. When they're putting the truth right there in front of you. And so, and by the way, this is not a Donald Trump dick sucking video, by the way. Now, I'm not very trusting of anybody, but I'm just going to speak on facts. So, in 2012, all right, he wasn't, I don't know what was in play then, but he wasn't the president, okay? And he basically said, he definitely shoots from the fucking hip, but, he was speaking about all of the pedophiles and shit like that, and you gotta understand, it's Donald Trump. If Donald Trump's speaking on pedophiles, and I understand that he's been accused of being one too. Now, nothing necessarily proven, but if he's speaking about pedophiles, what my mind goes to is that he's speaking on behalf of what he's been seeing. He's not hanging around the common man, okay? You've seen some of the people he hung around, and you saw who those people he was hanging around are affiliated with, okay? So Jeffrey Epstein, okay? Pretty big name that went down. And still, with the charges that were brought up against him, I don't even think it scratched the surface, okay? And if you don't believe me when I say that these people weren't acting alone, what's Ellen DeGeneres' background on her show? What is it? Okay? And I'll tell you what it is. It's Jeffrey Epstein's island, his place. Alright? Go ahead, look it up. You probably can't rely. Now, people tell me that Google had briefly been uncensored, but what I found last time I checked, it's still very much censored. But even still, maybe even through Google, you can see the side by side. All right, there's no mistake in it. Okay, there really isn't. Okay. So he said, Donald Trump in 2012 was talking about these pedophiles, and he was just talking about fast trial execution. And if that isn't already happening behind the scenes, it will. Or if it is happening behind the scenes, we will hear about it. And also, a very interesting thing, from the moment he became president, I never hear about this in the media, so I know that this is something that they want to keep away from us, is that the amount of human trafficking arrests gone up tremendously. Alright? Tremendously. All these powerful people start stepping down just randomly, like I said. A lot of powerful people. And well, I obviously don't believe that it's a coincidence, and I feel like that there are a lot of evil people on their last legs. As I when I first started to hear rumblings this year about all the shit that I'm talking about and the things that I'm not talking about, I may not talk about right now. It it hit like nothing. Like, I didn't believe it because I had put off, paying attention to conspiracy theories and shit like that because it consumed me. It consumed the hell out of me. I thought about committing suicide because it was just so bad. All of the things that I was reading about. So I went from being very skeptical to hopping right back into research mode, and then I stood to witness all of the people, a lot of people who I just thought were like just sheep, or they don't, they ain't woke, or I mean, I never used that, but whatever. They have the type of eyes that I wish were around me, or I wish that they would have had. I mean, years ago, and that's not about them. It's because God, I was dead lonely. I had nobody to talk to about this shit. I probably did, but it wasn't as natural as goddamn the shit popping up on my news feed. Like, there were groups and all of that, and I was affiliated with an anonymous group who had a Facebook page that had like 200,000 people, but I don't know. I just left. I guess you can say I gave up. I guess you could say I gave up on thinking that we would see a desired outcome. I thought that we were doomed. I really did. And now I can't say that we aren't doomed, but what I see is that what it appears to me is that we are actually a lot closer to just an overall global reset. Now, I can't tell you like what's that going to look like, how you're going to get all this information. Maybe it's a very gradual thing, and it's something that gets reported to you, kind of a hindsight type thing. So like, so as you guys may have noticed, we've given you all universal health care, universal basic income, universal, I don't know, maybe even your own place to stay for a year or something like that. Okay, as you've seen, we freeze your rent, we freeze the mortgages, and you may be wondering, heck, like, why are we doing all of this? And I don't know. That's how I think that it's a good way to present it. I don't really think that we're going to get all the information at once, just bit by bit, Same way you eat an elephant, because now I've probably done a bad job at just talking about all that's going on in the world, but what I do know is that when all of this information gets out, they're probably going to have to shut down the internet, because the internet will be broken. The internet will break down with the amount of information that will be processed, and it's going to be we would need it. We would need the internet to be shut down, to be honest with you. Now, I heard rumblings of that something like that was supposed to happen this month. We'll see. I don't know. And in case you were wondering, yes, there have been countries who have shut down the internet. Okay? Not forever, I don't think, but there have been countries who shut down the internet. Now, I don't know how the fuck you do that. Alright, I'm not that intelligent. Who holds the internet? Who holds it? I don't know. Like, god damn. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I expect. So, to wrap this up, yes, I'm pretty sure that the country, at least America, a lot of other, how do I say, main countries as well. Yes, America will be shut down for at least the rest of this year. Okay, yes, the benefits are coming. Yes, there will be many more crashes, and if I'm correct, the dollar as we've known it will go away. Maybe so we can have this currency that's actually backed by gold and silver. So, I mean, a lot of people have been telling you to buy gold and silver and all. I think even if you don't buy gold and silver right now, you'll have a chance to benefit. I don't think we're going to go to a society where the wealth can necessarily be hoarded. Now, yes, people will make their money and make a great deal of money, and they can still be rich and shit like that, but I envision a country with nobody left behind, and yes, it's very doable. Don't let people fool you. Don't let the evil side of capitalism fool you into thinking that it's not possible. It is. Okay? And there's gonna be a lot of trickle downs, okay? Because I can just tell you, I mean, I don't know how you are, because I mean, I can be a selfish person, but when money's being given to me, and I'm not going to try to walk around acting like I don't deserve anything, and I'm also not going to act entitled, but when something's given to me and I feel like I have extra, I give a little something away, and that's what I expect to happen. That's what I expect to happen now, until that is the norm. Because even now, like I stand to benefit. Okay, I get $1,200. Okay, and extra for having a child. And I would stand to benefit from having $2,000 a month, and and then again another $500 for having a child. But everybody's still not going to have that luxury in the near future now, for multiple reasons. So I've been hearing from a couple people that they and if there isn't a back pay type thing, that I think a lot of them will get it, but a lot of people, some people are saying how they won't get the $1,200 and probably not the $2,000. I think you just gotta be patient with that, because there's a lot of things happening on the fly. I'm actually surprised with how fast everything is going. Very surprised, which really gives me a lot of reason to believe that you could expect the $2,000. If it's going to happen, it's probably going to happen very soon. Okay, I mean the same time as around the same time the $1,200 were rolling out, but next month. Okay, I honestly, I mean, what a great birthday gift. I mean, my birthday's in 2 weeks. 2 weeks exactly. May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. And I'm just fine with not having a big party if you tell me that's what's going to happen. Which I think will. One thing that I found is, like, you ever had too much of a goddamn good thing and you don't like it? That's what I'm experiencing right now. Like, I've always kind of liked staying in the house, and now you're giving me money, and I'm still getting paid a little something, still know how to get paid. Now you're giving me money, and with my mentality, I'm just taking money that you're giving me and I'm just investing it in other things. Now, I'm not investing in stocks right now. I'm not going to knock anybody who does. I'm trying to focus on me directly. So, and anybody who knows a little something knows that if that's the case, then this is the year, this is the time where you really take control of your life. All right? Because and I've known this for a while, the days of living in a nuts and bolts system it's over with, okay? All right. So I remember telling people, like, if you work a job where um, you can be replaced by a robot, chances are you will be replaced. Okay. Think assembly lines, cash registers, low-level accountants. All right, you will be replaced. People are being replaced. I'm not just I'm not just making this shit up. Okay, but it's good though. And reason why it's good because I understand you say, oh, need a job, but it's not a very fulfilling thing for you. And what I am telling you is that the closing of something that you thought was a good thing, you thought it was even better. Okay, for something even better. Okay, so, yes, this reminds me of, and I'm actually friends with this lady's boyfriend. Reminds me of the lady, and it was a documentary about this, a little mini doc. Lady used to work at McDonald's, and she was like, I think she was making like maybe minimum wage or something like that, $7 an hour. I don't know. And she was saying that she became the manager, and she was like disappointed. She was, kind of bickering with management or whoever above her, because she wanted to be paid like the managers, which was 50 cents more per hour. And there's a reason why I'm bringing this up, by the way. So with her discuss, and also expect much more of this. She went to a program. I forgot what it's called. It's in DC. I couldn't go because you had to be a DC resident, but I'm okay with that. A lot of black people in DC. The IT program, and now she makes 6 figures working at the Pentagon. And so expect more of that. Okay, so and guys, anybody listen to me, if you want a fresh start as far as careers go, look for those jobs where a robot can't replace you. All right. And I know it actually sounds kind of ironic that I would say, the fields of anything that has to do with a computer, but I find that it's very safe field. And I'm being very vague when I say dealing with computers and shit like that. It's very safe. It's something that's growing. It's underfilled, and the gap will probably grow even more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be a lot of jobs that are built around the computer, or I don't necessarily want to say AI, but just things of and machines, and the combination of machine and, I'm getting all over the place, but engineering and the sciences and yada yada yada. All right, so because you got to understand why this is happening, so that this particular system that's dying out wasn't built for the people. You think somebody giving you a bone by giving you a steady paycheck, but it's all about the system. Okay? That's why you feel guilty for calling out, even though you really want to call out. That's why you don't get the sympathy, like, oh man, I mean, obviously you do, because people are humans, but that's why you feel like your job doesn't really fuck with you. It's not really there for them to fuck with you. It's not really set up that way. It's not really set up to be fulfilling in a lot of ways. It's set up for you to do what the fuck you're told, do what you need to do, and then go on. But what I have found is that, like, yes, work can be very fulfilling, very rewarding. It doesn't have to be hostile or anything like that. It doesn't have to be. And you will find that with a lot of people actually fucking living their dreams, okay? And it may not have happened to you yet, and you see it other people making money in ways that, you could only dream of. Making money on, Instagram, YouTube, OnlyFans, things like that. It didn't happen for you yet, but it definitely can. I done got a taste of that. A lot of you will, and that's the future. That's the new norm. That's the new beginning. That's the reason why I came. I'm tired of this shit. That's the reason why I came and talked to this fucking camera for 30 minutes or so. It's probably even longer than that. But with that being said, I am gone.